will start the video once again, and let me see if I can also hear with you. Here it is. ये लोग का तो अलग ही नाटक है, चलते रहेगा सारा दिन रात आना जाना. Now once again start from here. I cannot listen the audio at all, so watch it carefully. This is a simple pendulum, and in this simple pendulum, the round ball at the bottom is called as bob. You can see now this is the mean position or position of equilibrium. Now see how a pendulum works. Now see, here at the end of the page, at the end of the path of oscillation, this is called the extreme position. This is the extreme position. Similarly, there is another extreme position over here. At two ends of the oscillation, the one end is one extreme and the other end is another extreme. And by the time you can observe this dotted line, this dotted line is the mean position, means when the pendulum is at rest, it stays stationary at that particular position. That's why it is termed as the mean position. Now, mean position, this is, you can see if you can observe my cursor moving, this is the mean position, this is one extreme, and this one is another extreme. Now let us continue. See it. Now see here, what is an oscillation? An oscillation means the bob starts from mean position. This is the mean position O, as it is shown in the video. This is the mean position O. This is the extreme position A, and this is another extreme B. So what is one oscillation? The bob starts moving from the mean position. It goes to one end, one extreme, then it moves to another extreme and comes back to mean position. This is termed as one oscillation. Then another alternative oscillation is there. Just listen it. Alternative of one oscillation. Got it? Okay, now hopefully all of you had seen and observed what is a simple pendulum, what is its oscillation, and what is the time period. We will now, I will now try to explain the things using some drawing or something like that. I cannot make a video instantly or like that. So I will try to draw it. Now, for that reason, we need to share the screen again, and we need the whiteboard. Okay, let the whiteboard comes up. Yeah, whiteboard is opening up. Just few seconds. इसको भी खोलने में टाइम लगता है. Oh, yeah. Now, this is from the previous class, 7B and 7C. Now, today, we are here to understand the simple pendulum. Now, when we talk about simple pendulum, see very carefully. That is the top page. Okay. Now, what is this? This is the bob. We say it bob. Now, and the position of rest over here, the position of rest, when the simple pendulum is not moving, it will hang still. So this position is termed as mean position. This position is termed as mean position. Now, if we pull the pendulum to a certain height, then we release it. We had pulled it to a certain height and then simply release it. We do not throw it, do not apply force to it. So what happens, as soon as we release it, it will start moving from this position to here. But here it will not stop. It will push itself little more farther and comes to another position. Okay. Now, these two positions is, we mark it as O, as it is shown in the video, O, A, B. So what is the position O is termed? O is mean position. A and B, both are termed as extreme position. Okay. Now, that is done. Now, what do you mean by oscillation? Oscillation means the to and fro motion. Oscillation means the to and fro motion of the pendulum. Pendulum will move from here to here, from A to B, B to O, and O to A again. It goes on continuously. And this movement is termed as oscillation. Okay, oscillatory motion. Now, as we can understand, it will start moving from one end A. It will start from here, move to O, then again it moved to B, and again back from B to O and O to A. If the bob starts moves from A to O, O to B, then again back B to O and to A, means you can see we have the two extremes at the two ends. This one motion, this complete motion is called one oscillation. Hopefully you can understand what do you mean by one oscillation. Means oscillation from one extreme to another extreme and then back to the first extreme. This is one oscillation. Now the time taken to complete one oscillation is time period. The time period of a pendulum is termed as the time taken by a pendulum, by a simple pendulum, to complete one oscillation. So one oscillation can be measured from the mean position as well as from the extreme position. So there is no obligation that you have to start from a particular position. Most of the time what happens when the pendulum is hanged freely and it is not being obstructed by other any obstacles, then what happens, it will take equal time for every oscillation. Correct. Now there are some terms related to the pendulum. Some terms related to the pendulum. I'm going to clear some position of the board. Then we will again discuss about the terms of the pendulum. So for terms of the pendulum, let me clear the, my goodness. So clear the canvas. I'm going to clear it completely. Now, to know the time period, first of all, let us once again draw the pendulum. Correct? Now, let me draw it again. I'm here to here and the bob. Now, when we see this, assume this is the center of bob. Assume this is the center of bob. So the distance, so first of all, this is the effective length L. So what is L? Effective length. Now what is that actually is? Effective length is equals to, L is equals to length of thread. We say it a thread, okay, the hanged substance जिससे लटकाया गया है, plus radius of bob. So my handwriting is not good. Let me check if I can I cannot see anything over there. So let it be. Okay. Now I'm zooming out a bit. थोड़ा सा zoom कर लेते हैं. अब हो गया क्या? Length हम लोग समझ गए. ठीक है, length हम लोग समझ गए. Now time period we had already calculated. So these are the terms. Now first term, length of the pendulum. What is the length of the pendulum means? The length of the pendulum is the length of the thread plus the length or plus the radius of the bob. Okay, now stop sharing. Let us go back. And what is oscillation? One, the to and fro motion of the pendulum. The to and fro motion of the pendulum is termed as oscillation. Okay. Now, what is one oscillation? The one oscillation means the motion of the pendulum from its mean position to extreme, back to mean position, another extreme, and then the mean position. I repeat once again, from the mean position to an extreme, move to another extreme, then to the mean position is one oscillation. This can also be termed as the motion of the pendulum from one extreme to another extreme and then back to the first extreme. That is one oscillation. What is amplitude? Amplitude is the maximum distance from the mean position on either side. Amplitude is the maximum distance. So this is the mean position of the bob. Say this is the mean position. It will move to one extreme. So as it moves to one extreme, this distance is termed as the amplitude of the pendulum. Number 4, frequency of pendulum. Now, what is the frequency? Sorry, guys, I'm getting frequent disconnection because of the network issues. And still, I cannot find the network. Although it is showing that it is being connected. Yeah, now it is connected again. So, we were talking about the frequency. Before understanding frequency, let us understand what is the time period. Time period means the time taken by the pendulum to complete one oscillation. एक ऑसिलेशन को कंप्लीट करने के लिए पेंडुलम को जितने टाइम चाहिए होता है उसको बोलते हैं टाइम पीरियड. नाउ व्हाट इज एन ऑसिलेशन? I cannot show you using any kind of instrument over here. Just let me try if I can get something. Yeah. Yes. Now, it is not a simple pendulum. Jugaad, है ना? This is not a simple pendulum. The simple pendulum must have some characteristics, and that characteristics is we are running out of time. So if we get disconnected, do come back. What is the characteristics of the simple pendulum must be is the size of the bob must be small. जितना छोटा हो सकता उतना अच्छा. But it must be very heavy. वो heavy होना चाहिए. And the thread used must be weightless and twistless. Twistless मतलब मचोड़ा हुआ नहीं होना चाहिए. Now it is not like that. Okay. Now say this is one extreme. We pull it and leave it. You can observe it keeps on moving from one end to another. So as it moves from one end to another, the motion of the bob from one end to other end and back to this end is oscillation. One oscillation. and the time taken to do so, is the time period. Okay, now हो गया. What is the frequency is? Frequency is the number of oscillations. Frequency means the number of oscillations a simple pendulum can complete in 1 second. एक सेकंड में जितने ऑसिलेशंस कर सकता है एक सिंपल पेंडुलम, उसको बोला गया है फ्रीक्वेंसी. आज का क्लास बड़ा डिस्टर्ब रहा, हम बार बार डिस्कनेक्ट होते रहे, and I will be continuing with the same topic next day. But before that, we conclude सबसे जरूरी चीज, we have to take the attendance. तो सबसे पहले अटेंडेंस ले लेते हैं, उसके बाद आगे टाइम बचेगा तो बात करेंगे. Now this is 7A. So ये लोग तो मतलब नहीं रहने दो, खत्म हो गया क्लास, अभी आ रहा है क्या. Now how many students are there? We have 33. Now first one, let me check the participants. First is Aditi Kumari. Then Akanksha Bharti Richa. Okay. Then Akshay Sambhav. Then we have Amaya Anand. Where is that? Oh, first one. Amaya, you have double A in your name, as it is in the register, double A. Ankit Kumar is there. Then we have Anupam Kumar is there. Then we have Aparmaya is there. Then we have Atik Ansari, MD. Yes. Now Atik Ansari तो पहली बार आ रहा है लग रहा है. Then we have Ayush B is there. Then we have Janvi. Bob. Yeah. Janvi is there. Now we go back. Janvi के बाद है Kumar Alok is there. Then we have Abu Samar is there. And Mohi Kumari. Kumar or Kumari. And this is Nandini. Nandini is there. Then Nilesh is there. Then we have Nitisha. Praveen Kumar M. Praveen Kumar M. Then we have Rajiv Kumar. नहीं पता, जो क्लिक करें इस पर भी. यस, राजीव कुमार है. Then Rajnandini. Then we have Ronak Priyadarshi. Then we have Ritik Kumar. Ritik Kumar hai. And Sevin is also there. Sevin तेरा नाम नहीं मिल रहा है, खोज के. शानवी सुमन. Shipriya Singh. Shubham Kumar. Then Sunit Kumar. सुमित कुमार, सुमित का नाम लिखे थे क्या? सुमित कुमार. Then we have Soumya Priyadarshini. Then we have Sukanya Kumari. Sukanya is there. And Suman Kumar is there. Sumit Kumar. Sumit Kumar is there. And last is Sunny Raj. Okay. Now, one more is waiting in the hall. What is the name? Komal Priya. Komal Priya. Acha, Ankit. कुमारी कोमल प्रिया. एक सेकंड. कुमारी कोमल प्रिया का हो गया. अंकित का नहीं हुआ. अंकित कुमार हो गया. तो अंकित. ओके. इफ यू हैव डाउट, अंकित को कुछ डाउट है? हाँ अंकित. नहीं.
No sir.
Okay then. We will continue on the next day. We will continue the same thing, same chapter. Okay, because I think there was a lot of disturbances today because of the network problem. So next day we will continue from here itself, from the beginning itself. Okay. So those who had not understood properly, do not need to worry. I will repeat the whole thing again, and this time we would obviously watch the video a little, then we will start discussion. I will not show you the video twice or thrice as today. Okay, get ready for the next class if you have, and from my side, it's a have a very good day. Okay.